Hello, I'm Munir with Blockchain News, and it is my pleasure today to introduce to you guys two very distinguished gentlemen. Why don't I let them introduce themselves?
Hi, my name's Stephen Nerayoff. I am the CEO and founder of Alchemist, which is a blockchain advisory and development company.
I am Jeff Pulver. I'm vice chairman of Alchemist, and I enjoy playing with disruptive technologies.
Thank you, gentlemen. So these gentlemen are here with a tZERO team. I'm very much embedded with them, and I would like to ask them to tell us a little bit, about what brought them into cryptocurrencies, and give us a little sense of their background.
So I initially came in, somebody showed me Bitcoin, and it was one of those love at first sight. I very much had a philosophical bent toward that area, and when I saw Bitcoin, I just looked at this and I just said, "This is something that's part of the future." And then I was very fortunate that not a couple of years after that, I got involved in a project called Ethereum, and my job at that project was to figure out the legal framework within which to issue, we were calling it a crowd sale at the time, which has now become the ICO, and that was the genesis of the utility token.
Yes.
And so it's a law of unintended consequences as to what's kind of happened. I've been involved in a lot of ICOs since then, but bookending it right now, importantly, is I've been again fortunate in my career where was able to design for the very first securities token trading system, the token security token for it, and that is for tZERO.
Wow.
That's what we're here today.
Awesome.
So it's been a very fortunate and amazing run, and I'm just looking forward to continuing.
So my first experience with digital currencies goes back to 1995 with DigiCash and CyberCash. I was quite fascinated with the introduction of the commercial internet and all the different businesses that were about to be disrupted. Some that were disrupted immediately and some that became disrupted many years later. I chose, however, to go down the path of exploring the disruption of the communications industry with my passion for voice over IP, which for 23 years I literally helped change the way the world communicates. And I happen to be a neighbor and friend of Stephen, and last year, after watching his magic happen time after time after time, and after spending time in his very famous apartment, where over, I think, at least $5 billion projects were born, I accused Stephen of being an alchemist because he was taking air and creating tremendous value. So that's how I'm now vice chairman, and I'm very excited to be here today. And the more I learn about capital markets, now my background is I'm a former expert in fixed income mathematics. In the late 80s, I used to write @functions, I built trading systems, did real-time analytics for Wall Street on the buy side and the sell side, and I worked at Cantor Fitzgerald Securities for a while. And I've seen markets evolve tremendously. And what I'm so excited about what tZERO is offering is the opportunity for a new asset class to be introduced to the market. And as people start to understand what a security token is, they will only start to then appreciate how disruptive the introduction of that instrument will be to the future of capital markets. And for me, I feel like I'm at that moment in time where that disruption has started, and I'm very grateful to be here today.
Awesome. We are making history, and this is very important. So I would like to ask you both your opinion a little bit. Everyone here is a little bit shaken by I think this month the market was a little bit tough. Cryptocurrencies are down, prices are a little bit depressed. So I wanted to ask you guys what you think will be the future and how prices will kind of evolve, change, whether up or down, and how maybe perhaps tZERO adds quality to the space or might make the space evolve in some way?
So I have been, I don't know whether it's fortunate, but I have been the beneficiary of living through, I think, for massive corrections in the cryptocurrency space. So this is nothing new to me. This is the first one that I think is different, and only because you got a lot of members of the public involved, whereas before it was a much smaller enclosed group. So I think it's actually made the news. But really, it's not much different than the other ones. In fact, if you go back just 3 years, Bitcoin itself went from about 1250, 1260 down to about 175 over like an 18-month period, and it just went down, 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 down. Me and most people I know were not, and again here, we're not upset about that. We took it as an opportunity. I personally took it as an opportunity, and I think I believe the market will bounce back. I believe if you believe in the technology, what the technology can do, and the projects that are coming out, and the protocols that are coming out, and you understand that this is unique, and there's a liquidity event coming from the entire world that's never been seen before. This is, I think, a needed correction, but you'll see it bounce back, I believe, very strongly. As far as tZERO, this is very important. The markets have had a lack of clarity. They've had that because they have had a lack of regulation, and it's been questioned whether or not these tokens are legitimate, whether or not they're securities, whether they're this, they're that. This country says it's something, another country says it's another thing. Within a country, they have 3 different ideas depending on which regulatory body you're talking to. And tZERO is the world's first and only securities token trading system. And that is really mind-blowing when you think about what the implications of that is. And what it does is it brings legitimacy to the marketplace. Yes. Once legitimacy comes into the marketplace, something else comes into the marketplace. And those are large institutional players, and then the rest of the public. So I think tZERO, it's a actually enactment, because Overstock 5 years ago was the first major retailer to accept Bitcoin, and that brought legitimacy to Bitcoin itself. And Patrick Byrne has done it again, where he's now bringing legitimacy to the entire marketplace. So it's an exciting time.
So I'm a recovering day trader. I love volatility. I used to trade in 2000, 99, 2000, and even into 2001. I loved out-of-the-money market options. So volatility of 40, 50, 60, 70, 80% gives me the energy I need to start my days. My introduction to this industry was watching Ethereum go from 385 to 180 in a period of 3 weeks last summer. So get over it. What we're really talking about is something that's transformational to the world, that is bigger than the impact of the introduction of the commercial internet, something which, as blockchain is accepted and adopted in different industries, it's transformational, not only capital markets, but in every vertical there is. The introduction of the internet and then the whole .com boom of the 90s gave us the idea of that, yes, some people went broke. There were people who became instant millionaires and billionaires. We're living in that moment in time where, once again, yeah, some people may not make it, but we will have a new class. We'll have the blockchain millionaires, the blockchain billionaires, and for the first time, the blockchain trillionaires. Somebody's going to wake up in there overnight. Maybe it'll be my friend Steven here, and he's going to say, "Oh my God," keep it to himself. But in his wallets, it adds up to more than $1 trillion. But what does this really mean? What it's really talking about is a transformation of the way we work and live in things which you never before conceived of. And so, when I look at the market volatilities, it's a sign, but it's not really the signs I go by. I'm looking at how different businesses around the world are changing. And for me, the key thing about a security token is that you don't have to be on the blockchain. You see, a security token offers an entrepreneur or a Fortune 500 company the opportunity to raise capital from the crowd, to define the characteristics of it, that perhaps I'm giving out equity, perhaps not, perhaps I'm giving a percentage of my top line. But it also gives me the opportunity to offer my customers incentives to do business with me, suppliers incentives to do business with me, all at the same time, no blockchain required. You don't even have to spell it because it's a new asset class. You know, the introduction of the functional utility, the utility token, came from the whole Jobs Act, the whole idea of being able to do crowdsourcing. I do think something which I have a history with, I started a company in America called Vonage. And while I was associated with it, our tagline was redefining communications. I left for a reason, and the company changed its tagline to the broadband telephone company. And sure enough, New York states across America went after them for regulatory reasons. So be careful how you market yourself. I do believe the ICO should not be known as an initial coin offering. I think that people who are in that business should be focusing on going back to the roots and consider it an internet crowd offering. And we are understanding that it's the crowd that's giving us the power, the ability to bring money in, and that's to whom we're responsible for.
Exactly. Awesome. Gentlemen, I'd like to thank you for taking a moment to spend time with us and elaborate a little bit about tZERO, your backgrounds, and also what you're bringing and what tZERO is bringing to the community. I do hope that everyone in Korea is paying attention, and thank you very much again for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wow.